There's a new show coming out, Young Sheldon.
Uh-huh.
Young Sheldon wears like a short-sleeved dress shirt and a bow tie, because that is how nerds look.
Uh-huh.
But why does young Sheldon wear a dress shirt and a bow tie if adult Sheldon just wears a t-shirt all the time, even to his job at the university?
Because his values changed as he got older?
I mean, I guess. But I feel like it's probably just lazy.
His mother dressed him as a child, and then he dressed himself as an adult.
His mother is a conservative Christian in Texas. That's our Big Bang Theory podcast. Bang, won't you please our theory?
Or not.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you.
Well, it's a beautiful day in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
And it's a kind of an overcast, windy day in our neighborhood.
Yep.
But that's beautiful in a way.
I guess, sure.
I mean, potentially.
It's episode 1479, or volume 2, episode 4.
First aired
in the Amazon
sometime
collection.
in the 80s.
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah, is that right?
I don't know. We aren't really keeping up on those dates anymore. Mr. Rogers has a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And he says
he's got a wood thing, and at first I'm like, what you have there is just a 2x6, which has been cut off at 45 degrees.
But it was a trick.
It was a trick, because he turns it around and it's an instrument.
A lyre, to be specific.
He says it's a lyre later.
But you don't
Pretty sure it's a zither.
Okay.
Because a lyre...
I thought a zither had more strings.
I mean, a zither can have... There are a number of different types of zither.
Okay.
You got your fretted and your fretless, your chord zithers. Your lyre is the one with the hoops up. Like the classical... It looks like a harp.
Right.
As in the harp and lyre. I think this is a zither as featured in the Third Man theme song.
But it's missing a string.
It's missing a string!
And he's like, well, maybe you can sing that note while I'm playing the scale instead of it.
And he's got a decent singing voice.
Sure.
Mr. Rogers' neighbor.
He's decent at playing the lyre.
Does. Yeah. I mean, it's one chord. But yeah.
I mean, he plays chopsticks, which takes two notes at once.
Moderately musical enough to play a
I mean, that was
lyre
his major.
Easily.
His major was music.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Sure.
So maybe he's right. Maybe it's a lyre. I don't think so. It doesn't look like a lyre. I spent a lot of time while I was watching this episode also Googling lyres and zithers. And this looks like a number of zithers I've seen. It looks like no lyre I've ever seen. I think Mr. Rogers is the lyre.
Okay. He decides that the missing string is a problem, so he's going to take it to...
Handyman Joe Negri's.
Not Handyman
Joe
Negri. Mr. Joe Negri.
Neighbor Negri's.
Who has a music store.
Shop.
And he... What?
Just the thing that happens next is kind of funny.
He
just says, is Joe in?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no, I don't want to talk to him.
Yeah, because I'm sure there's nobody else on the other end of this phone, but he still imagines like the misunderstanding of, oh, I'll go get him for you.
And also, they inserted this scene where he calls to see if his friend is at the store where he works. Like, surely if Joe...
It was in the script, certainly.
Yeah, but like, why are they just... Like, what purpose does this scene serve?
I don't know.
Because it's in the script, so Joe's definitely going to be there.
It's teaching kids not to show up at a music store without an appointment. Wow, but he didn't even make an appointment.
No, and you can show up to a music store without an appointment. You go in and you say, hey, this needs fixing. Is Joe around? Oh, I'm sorry, I missed him. Oh, well.
Mr. Rogers just didn't want this whole episode to feel manufactured. In that, he just assumed that he's going to be at the
Mr. Rogers is a big believer in cinema verite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is perhaps why he is interrupted now by a knock at the door.
Mr. McFeely.
Yes, it's Mr. McFeely. Mr. McFeely has a present.
Well, he has a delivery, and then Mr. Rogers says, I never ordered anything, which...
That's never been the case.
You get deliveries every day, and you rarely order something.
Never have ordered anything.
I don't know if we've ever seen... We've seen a lot of episodes now. 20 or 19.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever seen Mr. McFeely come with something that Mr. Rogers has actually ordered.
No, I mean, early on, he was delivering, like, mail.
Right, that's true.
And to and from, like a courier. No,
Mhm.
I don't know that he's ever delivered anything that was ordered by Mr.
You
Rogers.
have to wonder how he's making his money. Although, in this episode, he does get his lyre back by...
That's true. By special delivery.
Yeah.
Speedy delivery.
So the gift
he's making
in question
his money with marketing, because the gift in question
is a t-shirt.
Is a t-shirt. Yeah, Mr. McFeely has opened up a tpress.com store.
Mm-hmm.
He's made speedy delivery t-shirts with his face on them. And
he has in the past stated that he's just one employee of Speedy Delivery, but either he's become the face very quickly,
because it's his face on the t-shirts.
It says Speedy Delivery.
He's giving these to all his friends.
Yeah,
so they
for
can free market them. Free marketing for Speedy Delivery.
Sure.
I don't know. This is a terrible gift if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mr. Rogers loves it.
He's so
excited about this t-shirt.
Or he seems to love it. He presents
he puts it on immediately.
Yes, he says kind of a strange phrase. He says, the next time you hear from me, I'll be wearing this t-shirt.
Yeah, I'll be wearing Mr. McFeely's t-shirt. He says
it
as he's putting it on, as he disappears into the head hole to come out the other side.
Like, it's not like he left to put the shirt on.
It feels like, I don't know if it is, but it feels like a reference.
Yeah, the next time you hear from me.
Like the weird sort of in-joke that you or I would make.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I don't know, maybe that's a thing that he does. Mr. McFeely shows him, he's got him up in several colors.
Mr. Rogers says I don't see colors that well.
Yeah, he's colorblind.
So I'm wondering now if in the black and white episodes where he would pull out a sweater and say, it's yellow.
We have no idea. Yeah, so he goes to the music store.
He certainly does.
It's a nice music store, I guess. It's got instruments on the wall.
And Mr. Joe Negri is there talking with someone who's repairing instruments for him. I'm assuming a contractor.
Well, he says at some point that his repairman is Mr. Fabrizi.
Yeah, Mr. Fabrizi, who I believe in this scene he calls Babe.
That can't be right.
I'm certain that as Mr. Fabrizi is walking away, he says, "Thanks, Babe."
Maybe that's his name.
Maybe his name is Babe Fabrizi.
Yeah.
Or maybe Mr. Joe Negri, as a music store owner, just has kind of a, thanks, Babe. Hey.
Yeah, he is wearing a suit. He's got a pin in his collar.
Sure.
That's just an interesting look.
Mr. Rogers shows up alongside Mr. McFeely.
Yeah, who's coming along to deliver
another t-shirt.
Joe Negri does not put it on immediately.
No, he says, I'll just... And then he never finishes his sentence because he's wearing a full suit.
Yeah.
Which Mr. Rogers put his on over top of his dress shirt.
Like, he took his cardigan off for it.
Yeah. But he's dressed like a real Sheldon Cooper now.
Yeah. Okay.
But it wouldn't really work for Mr. Joe Negri to put a t-shirt on
a bit
over
much.
his
And also,
suit jacket.
I mean, Mr. Rogers is off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Joe Negri has to maintain a certain level of business, like something or other. Because he's running that most buttoned-down of industries, a music shop.
Mr. Joe Negri gets a t-shirt with Mr. McFeely's face on it.
The word Speedy Delivery. And sort of
which is not a normal thing. You don't just give someone a shirt with your face on it, especially if you're a delivery man.
You make them buy it off the internet like a responsible business person.
After Mr. McFeely leaves, though, Mr. Rogers says, he's a special person.
I missed that.
Which cracked me up. I'm sure Mr. Rogers, being the man that he is, meant it...
Means it entirely sincerely.
In the sincerest way possible,
yes.
That he is a special person, as are we all.
Yeah.
But the way he says it after he's just given someone a shirt with his face on it, he's a special person. It seems like Mr. Rogers doesn't always... see eye to eye with Mr. McFeely. He doesn't quite get him.
You certainly get that impression.
He accepts him, but he doesn't get him.
Yeah. So Mr. Rogers explains that he needs a string replaced on his lyre/zither.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Negri says, "Oh yeah, we'll have that ready for you later today."
That's pretty good service.
See, I was going to say later today seems like a pretty long turnaround time for replacing a string.
That's true.
Replacing a string feels like let me do this at the counter for you.
Yeah, it's either I'll do it right here while you're standing here, or I'll do it and you'll get it back in a couple days.
Yeah,
right.
You either need to order the strings or you don't.
Yeah. Maybe he had other customers. Well, no, because he was...
And he says he's going to send it back to his guy to get it done.
Oh, so maybe his guy was working on other stuff.
Yeah, but later he says, because he plays guitar, he says he does, the basic maintenance on his guitar. So surely he knows how to restring an instrument.
Maybe not a lyre.
Maybe not a lyre, or maybe not a zither.
Joe shows Mr. Rogers some other instruments that are in for repairs.
Yeah.
Like a trumpet and
trombone and a cello.
Yeah.
Or is it a
or
what's the difference?
I started to wonder if this was like a real music store, because they just happen to have all of these
slightly damaged instruments
with legitimate problems. And I don't know, just the way he was talking seemed very natural about the problems and ailments.
Yeah,
with these
but again,
instruments.
this is a big cinema verite thing.
And
it feels small for a music store for me, and also they would have to shoot.
Like he says, like, oh, this one needs some new tuning knobs. And he's like, well, it really just one. Like that doesn't seem like the sort of thing that you'd say if it wasn't a real thing that he actually needed to fix. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
You might if you were trying to ad lib through a.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's weird.
So then an author comes in.
Mr. Earl Grolman is,
if you say
the name I heard.
I didn't write his name down. You seem to have just written down the sound of somebody swallowing gravel.
Earl Grolman.
Earl Grolman. The sound of vocal fry is his name.
He is the author of a divorce book.
Yeah, he's written a book on divorce, which he's giving to Joe Negri to give to his cousin, who's going through a divorce. It's not clear how old
his cousin
is. If he's an adult getting a divorce or the child of somebody getting a divorce.
Maybe he's an adult whose aged parents are getting a divorse. That's not impossible.
All of these things are possible. I was assuming adult, but later he opens up the book and
it's just got like pictures.
Yeah, it's got like
children's
pencil
pictures.
Drawings, which is not not a bad thing for a book. It's just not. It was not what I expected.
Do you think Earl Grolman drew like these pictures of different houses?
Those are 100% the drawings of a writer.
I thought that maybe they were like child drawings.
Oh.
And this was like a compilation book.
Maybe. Yeah, they could be like crayon drawings that have been photostated in.
Mm-hmm.
Photostat is a technology that is old, and so I assume how they used to get pictures into books. Yeah, I was thinking they were just like, these are pencil drawings, but it could just be they couldn't get color copies.
I don't really have anything. They talk
at length about divorce.
I don't really have anything to say about the scene until the very end, so if you've got anything.
It's not really our wheelhouse. Yeah, no, my next note is Land of Make-Believe.
Okay, so after they finish talking about this divorce book, Mr. Earl Grolman says to Mr. Joe Negri, if you have any questions, please tell your cousin to call me. Which I think he meant, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. Or if your cousin has any questions...
Probably the second one.
Tell him to call me. But he says, if you have any questions, tell your cousin to call me.
Maybe it's not his cousin. Maybe this is I have a friend with a problem.
Right.
Yeah, so Mr. Rogers heads home.
Yep. It's
full of more thoughts about divorce. They sort of took a day off from talking about divorce.
Yeah, in the last episode.
Jumping feet first back into it.
And so we are jumping feet first into the Land of Make-Believe now, I guess.
Let's head on down to the Land of Make-Believe.
The trolley, I noticed, still sounded kind of grindy on the rails there.
I didn't notice, but okay.
Maybe it's always sounded like that.
Maybe. I wonder if we should get a bus replacement service to the Land of Make-Believe.
We already did a joke about bus replacement.
Makes sense because I love talking about bus replacement services and I don't know why. Something is broken with me, Steven. Something is broken and it can't be fixed, just like some marriages. But not like Lyres or Zithers.
Here we are on the Land of Make-Believe.
Here we are, Land of Make-Believe. What do we even open with?
We open on King Friday, who has just returned from
Searching.
and he's dressed as like a colonial explorer, with a pith helmet.
Oh, was he?
You didn't notice this?
No, somehow I completely missed this.
You were off in another tab researching lyres.
I must have been,
zippers.
or something.
Okay, let me spell it out.
Oh boy.
He's got like the beige pith helmet and like the full suit to go with it.
Right, yeah.
I guess this is, in his mind, what one has to wear if you are a member of a search party. And he also says that when they heard the news that Prince Tuesday was found, his search party did a 21-gun salute. So they had guns with them.
I mean, he's the king. He's probably we've established, in fact, that he's the official head of the military.
Right. And
So-
he's brought his entire military with him.
His search party was the army. Yeah, he's looking for his son, who is the crown prince of the land of make-believe.
In a jungle, apparently. He also says, I don't know if it's at this point or later in the episode, that I would search to the ends of the earth to find you, Prince Tuesday, which really, before you go to the ends of the earth, you want to check Daniel Tiger's clock.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like the idea that Prince Tuesday goes missing and King Friday is immediately like, right, I've got to get dressed.
I need to be wearing the right
Yeah.
costume.
He heads into the...
No,
He heads down to his S room for safari,
yeah.
puts on his pith helmet and tan jacket,
I'm so disappointed you missed that.
rallies the army. I'm going to have to go back and watch it again.
It'll be on the Tumblr, certainly.
Well, yeah, that'll save me having to go back
It really
and watch
made
it
me
again.
wish that we had followed King Friday's part of the story.
That could have filled out another day.
Mm-hmm.
As it is, I don't know what Friday's going to be about. I mean, I have some inkling. We'll get
right.
to it.
And then the scene kind of shifts to Queen Sarah Saturday.
Well, here's the thing. So they talk about how we found Prince Tuesday. Don't worry, he's at school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's Sarah Saturday, and I think she even says, "Where is he?" And she's like, "Oh, he's at school." Which there's something kind of jarring about. We found this lost kid. Let's send him straight off to school and not home to his parents. And his parents are just like, "Oh, he's found. He's at school. Great. Can't wait for
he
him
went
to
to
get
school.
home from
He went to school because he didn't want to go home initially.
No,
I don't know
suppose.
if agreeing to those terms is the right thing to do, but they did.
Yeah. I mean, apparently his parents were off in the four corners of the earth.
But Sarah Saturday is
I
talking
bet King
with...
Friday took his plane out to look for him.
Maybe.
His plane that he already has.
But he's lost interest in that plane. He wants a new plane.
That would have been a good twist. This search party had rekindled his love in his first plane.
Mm-hmm. Sarah Saturday is talking with Miss Gray, the A&L Jets employee. And she inquires,
Air and Land Vehicles Incorporated.
do you think of anything but jet planes?
Which is a real dig at a salesman. She's like, hey, can we talk about that great big jet plane I was trying to sell? I don't know how 747s are sold in the real world, but I imagine in a world where they're sold by individual salesmen, this is a coup of a sale. I bet most of these A&L, Air and Land Vehicle sales people are like, a Cessna here, a Learjet there.
Right.
We're talking a liner. I mean...
This is the sale of her career.
This is the sale
This
of her
is
career.
like the guy that sold Archie Comics that neon orange printer.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think about a lot.
Okay. Interesting.
Like that, they just have this neon orange printer, which would have involved like multiple printers getting this new ink cartridge that is non-standard to printers.
Yeah.
And somebody had to sell them on that and
You don't
say,
think they're
"Listen,
just mixing yellow and red?"
it's no, because it's a special neon ink which you can't make using." As someone who deals with
I guess, yeah.
3 large printers every day,
And this is what for?
this is for the cover. The covers these days,
Oh, okay.
they have like a painful on your. It's a
Eyes orange
yeah.
for what is it? The lettering or just all the oranges?
His hair most
Oh,
like
okay.
the idea is this is Archie's hair, and
Right.
we're gonna make that the most prominent thing
Gonna make it
that
pop.
you can't not look at the checkout.
Wow, this is some real minutia on the
I-
podcast. And I feel bad when I juke the third band theme or They Might Be Giants into this podcast. I don't feel bad.
Listen, I was just
revel
thinking
in it.
long and hard about this at Safeway the other day about how this must have been a great sale, and the fact that
Fair
the
enough.
topic came up.
There's got to be like contracts getting set up with like airlines and stuff where you're selling whole fleets. But I don't know. Maybe she's not on the same beat. She's like in the the private citizen selling to kings and plutocrats and the Maharaja of Gabulalula.
But she does think of things other than jet planes.
But nothing she doesn't sell.
No, she says, well, I mean, she's a salesperson.
She's a salesman.
So
She stays on brand.
She says she does deals in land vehicles, electric cars, T-shirts.
Yeah.
Just throw that in there because...
Jet planes, electric cars, and T-shirts. This is the diversified portfolio of airline vehicles.
The things in Mr. Rogers'
largest and most successful supplier of vehicles in the universe.
The things in Mr. Rogers' life seem to bleed into the land of make-believe, where an opera will suddenly have banana boats, and an airplane manufacturer suddenly sells T-shirts.
It's like in Ghostbusters,
right?
When
you're
he's
trying
like,
not to think of
choose the form that I will take, and then he thinks of the Fluffy Puff mascot, not Fluffy Puff,
Stay Puft.
Stay Puft Marshmallow. Yeah.
While Ms. Gray is chatting with Sarah Saturday about the other products that she sells.
I think they even head off. Sarah Saturday's like, oh, let's talk more about electric cars.
Yeah, Elaine Fairchild.
Lady Elaine Fairchild pops up, says the greatest thing I've ever heard her say.
She said, is that the girlfriend?
Yeah.
Which I was not expecting.
No, I was also not expecting it.
They don't really dig into that.
They don't dig into it, they don't dwell in it, but she says it.
She says, is that the girlfriend? And then starts talking about King Friday and Sarah Saturday's potential divorce.
I think, is that the girlfriend? And then immediately jumps into, I think Prince Tuesday should come live with me.
Yes, that is her goal now.
So
she's turned this situation into a selfish...
Yeah, she wants to secure the heir.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is standard. Yeah, she thinks the king is having an affair with this lady.
With this jet salesperson.
Yeah. And she's angling to get control of the heir. I mean, once you're there, you've got it made. You raise Prince Tuesday in your own ideals. If you really want to make it official, then she could go off, have a daughter, and then get them married matrilineally. And then suddenly her dynasty. But I mean, she's already of the same. She's his aunt, so dynastically they're already linked. She just gets to give him the authority. The next thing you know, she sets up a coup, deposes King Friday, and installs Prince Tuesday, who she's been raising for the past decade or however long.
Are you done?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Jonegri is trying to talk down Lady Elaine about making this divorce theory into a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah.
But he lets slip that Prince Tuesday is at school, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go.
I'm out of here.
And Jonegri doesn't really try to stop her. He's just like, well, that Lady Elaine, I guess she's running to the school to abduct her nephew.
Would you? She seems like a handful.
Yeah. I would maybe call ahead to the school to say, listen, the prince's aunt is en route to abduct this child.
But nobody's going to know you knew. You're off the hook. Seems like a real hassle.
Well.
Hey man, some of us have anxiety. Let me out of this.
If I don't have to make a phone call, a child can get abducted.
I don't think she's really going to get abducted, and it's by his aunt.
So we cut to the school.
We cut to the school. They sing a weird song about how they're all here.
Yeah, I guess for their attendance, when they're taking attendance at this school, they sing a song that goes something like, Daniel, Prince, and Anna are here.
Yeah.
That's maybe a bit more minor key than whatever they're saying.
You made it a little sinister.
A little haunting.
It's more like da 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 da. I don't know.
I'm wondering, do they have a version of this for every combination of 3 students? What did they sing the other day when only Anna was here? Anna is the only one here.
I mean, the way she says it sounds so good when you all sing it together makes me think that they either just sing the same song or they just take the other names out of the song and it doesn't sound good.
Right, and so I'm wondering what are the other versions of this song that are sung when different combinations of people are here?
I think it's just like, Anna,
is here.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's Stephen still are here.
Mm.
I think there is no simple find and replace.
Daniel are here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Lady Elaine
Shows up.
she emerges from the floor, as all visitors do,
Yeah.
and says, "Listen, Tuesday, if you're sick of living at home, then come live with me."
In the museum go round.
And then they start talking as a class about the royal family's potential divorce.
Yeah, again, I don't have much notes on this.
Harriet E. Cow is like, well, listen, this is a big enough disruption to my class.
Yeah.
We have to go confront the royal family and ask if
Let's
this
have
is
a
true.
field trip.
And then Daniel Tiger and Anna are both like, we're also concerned about this. Can we come too? And the teacher is like, yes, the rest of my class should come while we confront the royal family about
Did
their
they ever show up,
potential
though? I don't
divorce.
remember.
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Everyone is there when they ask.
All hands on set.
Yeah, this doesn't seem tactful. It's like, oh yeah, we need to sit down and talk with your parents Tuesday so that we can get this cleared up. Some of the other kids want to come, and I said that was okay.
I mean, it's also current affairs, right? That's the thing.
Right.
Yeah, social studies.
In the next scene, Lady Elaine is quizzing King Friday on the potential divorce. She's like, I want to get to the bottom of this.
Right.
When's the divorce happening? I'm coming to take your son away.
It's not even when's the divorce happen. She's like, listen, I think Prince Tuesday should come live with me.
She's formalizing.
Yeah. I mean, she's rooting a bit too hard for the divorce, but she's very supportive of it also.
And I think Miss Grey is also there.
She shows up and then
later.
she says,
Yeah.
oh, right, the queen wanted to know when Prince Tuesday got back. I better go tell her.
Right.
So she sort of comes and leaves.
But then we have this whole class here.
Yeah.
King Friday refers to Harriet E. Cow as Teacher Cow. Which I love King Friday's names for everyone. Like he's too busy being
what the
a
names
king,
actually are.
and so he calls Harriet E. Cow Teacher Cow. He calls Ms. Grey Young Person.
I imagine that covers a lot of territory and doesn't do much to dissuade Lady Elaine Fairchild's girlfriend theory.
No.
Sarah Saturday and the airplane rep have worked out a solution where Sarah Saturday's like, well, why don't you just put wings on an electric car and make it an electric airplane? And she phones up the head office at Airland Vehicles and says, like, hey, can we put wings on an electric car and make an electric airplane? And they're like, yeah, we'll have that ready for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just knock that out. That's why they're the largest and most successful supplier of air and land vehicles in the universe.
Yeah. King Friday is like, well, that's a great idea. I'm happy. My wife's happy.
I get to buy a plane for the land, which is how he describes it at one point.
He's like, but is there any way we can have shirts made up?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we also make shirts, and that's something I can do instantaneously. And then she just origamis out like 20 tiny t-shirts that say plane car.
Yeah. Electric plane car.
Right.
Which is the name of my new band.
Sure.
It's a good band name, Electric Plane Car.
You've already got band shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
They're too small for anyone.
Very punk rock. Yeah, she says the electric plane car will be delivered tomorrow by our clowns, which...
she says clown delivery. They never specify whether it's more than one clown, I don't think.
That's true. And by clown delivery, which even sets King Friday back for a second. He's like, did you say clown delivery? And she says, yes, all of our vehicles are delivered by clowns.
Yeah.
That's why they're the largest and most successful supplier of vehicles in the universe.
Yeah, we've...
These are can't lose business tips. This is free advice we're just handing out by letting you in on the inner workings of the largest and most successful supplier of vehicles in the universe.
So they resolve the jet business and they resolve the divorce controversy.
King Friday says no divorce in this castle on this fine day, which leaves it a little open. Frankly.
I mean, there's still one day left in this plot line.
Could take a turn.
And so Lady Elaine's like, well, that's that resolved, I guess. And she's like, I still don't know about Corny's factory though, so I'm gonna go pester him. And I wrote down in my notes that I think the next episode is just going to be a potpourri of loose ends.
Yeah.
Do you have any more notes?
That's
for
about
the
it.
Land of Make-Believe?
Let's head on the electric plane car trolley back to Mr. Rogers' house.
I think you've misunderstood what happened in this. This is just the regular trolley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But what if they put wings on the trolley?
It wouldn't fit through the tunnels.
What if they fold it up?
I mean, that's a possibility.
What if they put like wings like up the top? Like,
And we're back in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Oh, okay. I was gonna. Well, we should have phoned airline vehicles before we left. See if we could get them to make a flying trolley. I bet they can have a course tomorrow.
Mr. Rogers has a song, I Like to Be Told.
Yeah. But the things he likes to be told. The only thing I have is he likes to be told if it's going to hurt. He likes to be told if it's not going to hurt. Mr. Rogers likes to be constantly appraised of whether or not something will hurt. And explicitly. Not just
and
hey,
whether,
tell me if this is going to hurt, but also tell me if this is not going to hurt.
And whether something's going to be heavy when he's about to lift it in the last episode.
It's true. Well, I mean, you know, that falls under, is this going to hurt? Is this not going to hurt? He's not a young man.
The song is called I Like to Be Told, and it reminded me of fun Mr. Rogers trivia that he would announce every time he was feeding the fish because some blind viewer wrote in and was concerned that he wasn't feeding the fish. And maybe that hadn't happened at this point, but he feeds the fish during his song I Like to Be Told and doesn't say that he's feeding the fish. So
that's ironic. I'm all out of notes for this episode.
Yeah, Mr. McFeely shows up with the lyre.
Yeah, or the zither. I still think it's a zither.
He compliments him on his t-shirt, Mr. Rogers, Mr. McFeely t-shirt.
Yeah.
He says, "Oh, Mr. Rogers, it fits you to a T." You ever hear that expression, Mr. Rogers? Mr. Rogers is like, "Yes, it means it fits you really well." And I'm like, I just said yes.
Yes, I've heard that expression, but I'm not sure what it means. Which, to be fair, happens.
And that is about it for the episode.
That's about it, yeah. Mr. Rogers puts a jacket on over his t-shirt. It's a very modern look, except for the t-shirt, except he's got a dress shirt underneath it, so it's less a modern look and more a
bazinga
corporate fundraiser.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Next week, we'll be back talking about episode 1480.
Ooh, what could possibly happen? We're going to see a clown, I hope.
There'll be a clown.
Delivering electric car plane.
There'll be t-shirts.
You think there'll still be t-shirts? I bet the t-shirts will be over and done.
Corny will be revealing his new factory plans.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out the Tumblr at pleasewon'tyoubemmy.tumblr.com.
Yeah.
We'll have pictures of King Friday's pith helmet if you missed it.
Stephen will Google pictures of lyres and zithers.
I might.
And finally, I mean, we've got to at this point settle this debate.
I suppose.
I need you to either disagree or confirm my suspicions.
So that'll be up a day or two after the episode, probably.
Yeah.
Our theme song was provided by Dan Brisbane.
Dan Brisbane. Doesn't ring a bell. Has he ever been on the podcast?
I'll have to have him on sometime. Our trolley transition tune was made by Rindale.
Cool.
We'll be back when the week is new, and we'll have more ideas for you.
All right.
Andrew, I know you'll have things you'll want to talk about.
Yeah, too many things. But you'll edit out the bad ones.
I will, too.
Hey, it still worked.
So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Won't you please? Won't you please? Please, won't you be my podcast?
The next time you hear from me, I will be wearing Mr. McFeely's t-shirt.